This is a question I get all the time, how I can be so openly insulting to the religious if I'm really trying to reach the religious and change their minds. But the reality is, I'm not trying to reach the religious. I'm not trying to actively deconvert the delusional. Not because I don't want to, but because I can't, and neither can you, and neither can the very nice atheists that kiss the ass of the religious and try to be their friends. Delusion is not open to deconversion until the delusional are personally ready to give up their blind faith. See, rejecting a bad belief, especially a bad belief held entirely on emotion, that has to come from within. I know that when I was a theist, until I got to that moment when I realized something was seriously wrong with my beliefs, it wouldn't have mattered what anyone said to me, how much they demolished my beliefs and proved that they were all wrong. It wouldn't have mattered to me because my beliefs were held irrationally. They made me feel good, and that was all that I cared about, whether I was willing to admit it or not. All the evidence in the world wouldn't have made a difference. So I recognize that speaking to the delusional won't really change anything. They aren't going to throw up their hands and say, "Wow, how could I have been so stupid?" Because they're not emotionally ready to recognize how true that is. Now, certainly, it is possible that whacking these people upside the head with arguments may make a very few of them realize their error, but that's a tiny percentage who have the cognitive wherewithal to reach reality through the haze of wishful thinking. I don't expect these people to take anything I say seriously because their emotions are overriding their intellect. I'm playing this game realistically. No, the people I want to reach are the people who have had their gotcha moment, who have realized that there's something seriously wrong with their religious beliefs, and who are out on the internet looking for facts. Those are the only people it makes any sense to go after, the people who used to watch William Lane Craig and spend time with the videos of Stands Against Reason and Andy Bannister, laughingstock of the internet. I think it's important to debunk all of these people and their silly ideas so that people who once took them seriously can see just how absurd it all is. And that's why I spend so much time debunking religious claims and showing how untrustworthy the religious apologists are. It's why I keep going after the Andy Bannisters of the world and showing just how irrational he and others like him are. So that when the religious who have started to realize how insane their beliefs are and start to look for some support for their crumbling faith, they might come across my videos and videos like mine and realize that the religious shysters they followed all along are just lying to them, or at the very least, have no more of a clue than they do. And I think that's tremendously important to do. See, the religious rarely are religious on their own. They're typically part of a community, and while I know that a lot of people get tremendous emotional comfort from their communities, ultimately, religious communities are led by a pastor or a priest or some other kind of preacher who puts themselves up as an authority on all things religious. They are trusted by their community, which is why you get so many cases of priestly sexual abuse against children, because that trust is often misplaced and people leave their innocent children with clergy members without a second thought, when they would never do that with anyone else. And when the priests or pastors or whatever diddle their kids, the religious are terrified of speaking out against the clergy because they assume, wrongly, that their minister has some kind of in with their imaginary friend and can harm their chances at an afterlife. Breaking that unwarranted trust with the clergy class is essential to helping people get out of their religious delusions. So whacking Frank Turek and William Lane Craig and other well-known apologists introduces questions into the minds of people who are really looking for answers. It suggests that maybe, just maybe, these people aren't that knowledgeable in the truth, that they're pushing a mantra that may not be factually correct, and it gets them asking questions that might ultimately lead to accepting reality on reality's terms. And I hope we all agree that's a good thing. So that's my thinking at least, but I want to hear yours in the comments. Do you think that it's all that useful to target the religiously fanatical? Does it really work to go after people who are unwilling and unable to give up their blind faith? Again, let me know in the comments, because I've talked about the moment where you realize that there's an issue with your beliefs, and it doesn't just apply to religion here, but any beliefs that you might hold emotionally, where suddenly you realize you just might not be right, and you're open to being deconverted from beliefs held on emotion to positions held on evidence. I know it happened in my case, and from many atheists that I've talked to over the years and decades, it seems to have been prevalent in a lot of theirs as well, at least the ones that rejected religion and were just always atheists from birth. There are some people not worth addressing. It's just beating your head on a theological brick wall. Those people may never change because they will never be open to it. But the ones really looking for the facts and really ready to open themselves up to reality as it is, those are the people who deserve our help. And those are the people I am trying to reach.